For 7 months, Apple's iPad has been unrivaled, but now there's a new kid on the block. Samsung released its Galaxy Tab this week. It's smaller, little cheaper than the iPad, although we're going to get that in perspective. It could be a major contender this holiday season and a sign of more competition to come. So here to size up the two tablets, senior editor for CNET.com, Dan Ackerman. Good morning to you.
And good morning to you.
I'm going to take issue first with the cost because it looks like it's going to be cheaper, but when you put it all together...
It's a little apples and oranges because with the iPad, you just buy the iPad and you can sign up for a data plan if you want, if you get the 3G version. With the Galaxy tablet right now, you can only get the 3G version. If you want that discounted price, $399, you have to sign up for a 2-year plan from Verizon or AT&T or somebody. If you just want to buy it outright, $600.
Okay, is this Galaxy, is it a credible match for the iPad?
It is probably the first real credible match because it runs Android, and that's the popular operating system that they use in all the Android phones. And it's got an app market which is kind of similar to the iTunes App Store, and it plays music and stuff.
Yeah.
It does a few things that the iPad doesn't. That's the key. It's got cameras on it, which the iPad doesn't have, and it runs Flash, which is what a lot of online movies and games use, although it doesn't quite run it so well yet.
Why is everybody always following Apple?
I think it's because they really do a lot of innovation. They're not afraid to experiment with new stuff. So when they put a product out there that becomes successful, just like game consoles or anything, everyone else wants to have their own version of it. But sometimes other guys come up with a lot of improvements on it.
Yeah, but you know what? Isn't it always about trying to be the first innovator with something? I mean, wouldn't you suspect others would try to go down a different road than what Apple's already trodden?
Well, then we would see movies every year about the same thing. If there's one successful movie, then you have a whole bunch of copycats. I think the entire industry is built around sort of copying something successful, like the Nintendo Wii with the motion control. Everybody else has that. So tablets, that became a really big hit. Now everyone has to have a tablet.
Which one do you like better?
You know, I'm still an iPad fan because I like that it's a whole ecosystem that's together. It's the easiest to use. It's the most seamless. It's the smoothest. The Android tablets do a lot of interesting stuff, but it's a little bit clunky. The scrolling is not quite as smooth. You really have to work a little bit harder to get what you want out of it.
So wait, who's going to be buying the Galaxy, do you think?
I think that people who
really excited about the newest gadget to try it out?
That's definitely true. There are people who really like Android, that Google operating system, because it really does give you more flexibility. So people who are, I think, more tinkerers, more sort of hardcore techies are going to like the Android stuff better. Okay, well, you're a hardcore techie. I'm just saying. Thank you very much, Dan Ackerman. Well, when it comes to electronic tablets, Apple is no longer the only game in town, as Samsung has released its Galaxy Tab just this week, the first rival to Apple's innovation. The device is slightly smaller and cheaper than the iPad. It could prove a major competitor this holiday season. So let's get the sizing up effect here from the two tablets. Senior editor for CNET.com, Dan Ackerman, is going to do that for us. Good morning. Good morning.
What do you like about the Galaxy? I know you're an iPad guy, so what do you like about the Galaxy?
I think the Galaxy does really well is it lets you get access to that Android market that has a ton of different types of apps that you can't get on the iPhone. It's also got cameras on it, which of course the iPad doesn't have. It has a camera in the front and a camera in the back, so you can do video chat, kind of like you can do on the iPhone 4 with that FaceTime. And of course, you know, you can get it from all these different cell phone providers and get 3G service with it.
Hey, pop this one on for me.
I'm going to pop this guy on for you. And you can see they're very similar. It's obviously a lot smaller. It's a 7-inch screen instead of a 9.7-inch screen. There you go.
So, yeah. It's a lot
But
smaller.
they do a lot of the same things. They both read Kindle books. They both go online and surf the web. They both play some games, some of the same games. There are a few things missing from the Samsung, though. They're used to on the iPad. You can't do the Netflix streaming right now, and you can't do any Hulu. You can get the Hulu Plus on the iPad.
And also doesn't move quite so smoothly, right?
You know, the scrolling is not really as smooth. That's what Apple does really well. They get that kind of, you know, you take your finger and you go up and down the long web page.
Absolutely.
You know, on the Samsung Galaxy and other Android tablets, not quite as smooth yet.
Okay, but some people might say, well, it's the new thing on the market, so it's going to be a little cheaper and bring us a lot of what the iPad can do. Is that true or not?
It is cheaper in a sense if you get it with a 2-year data contract. So you get it for $399 instead of $500 or $600 for the iPad. But then you're paying $30 to $60 a month for that data contract for 2 years.
What is it about Apple, though, and iPad? I mean, all of its products seem to be at the head of the innovation curve, and everybody else plays catch-up. Don't you think innovators should look elsewhere and say, we're going to go down a different path?
I mean, that's definitely true. What Apple does really well is they're able to kind of get products out on the market because they have, you know, Steve Jobs, a real visionary kind of guy, and when he says do something, everybody jumps and does it. At other companies, there's a lot more bureaucracy. It takes them longer to get fresh ideas, and there can be a lot of bureaucracy that strips out innovative thinking.
So bottom line, what do you think? Holiday season, is this going to be a winner, or are people going to go with iPads?
I think if people people think iPads are too big and too heavy, and some people say you can't hold it in one hand and read a book on it, then they're going to like a smaller tablet, and you'll see a lot of these like 7-inch, 5-inch tablets from other companies.
Okay, Dan Ackerman, as always, thanks.
Thank you.